The fact is, no Democrat, not one in Congress or otherwise, has called for open borders. And as far as sanctuary cities go, there are actually 5 sanctuary states. California, Oregon, Connecticut, Rhode Island, and Vermont are all sanctuary states. And on top of that, there are 127 sanctuary cities. But the law is clear. You can't do this. Is this a talking point for the day? Is this an effort to change the news cycle or change the narrative? Or what is this? Do we know?
Well, we don't know. I have a suspicion, which I'll give you in a second. But let's go back. Remember, this is a story that was broken last night by the Washington Post. The fact we didn't know it until last night, that twice, once last November, once in February during the whole shutdown crisis, that the White House suggested to the ICE, to the Immigration and Customs Enforcement, hey, let's take some of those migrants at the border, people that are in detention and have to leave, and let's put them on buses. Think about this. Put them on buses and send them to sanctuary cities all the way up the coast of California to San Francisco. Dump them on the streets. Take them all the way into the Northeast, as you pointed out, to Rhode Island or Connecticut, and dump them on the street. And twice, ICE said, you can't do it. 1, we don't have funding to do it. 2, we don't have the buses to do it. 3, there's liability. What if there's an accident? What if somebody gets sick or hurt? All kinds of reasons why they couldn't do it. And the White House came back last night and said, look, this is an idea that was floated and was rejected, and that was the end of it. They also flatly denied that there was any effort of political retaliation here. Now, suddenly, quite a surprise to, I think, everybody, the president this afternoon comes out with a tweet and says, oh, no, this isn't over. I'm seriously considering it. And you saw him say in that press availability just now, I am seriously considering this. They want open borders. They want people there. We'll give them people, which sure sounds like political retaliation. Here's my guess, and it is only a guess. Take it for what it's worth. This will never happen. This is the president saying, we're not going to cower and try to pretend we didn't really do this. I'm going to double down and suggest it. My base will like it.
That was Fox News' Shep Smith and Chris Wallace dumping cold water on Trump's threat to send undocumented immigrants to sanctuary cities.
I call them the illegals. They came across the border illegally. We'll bring them to sanctuary city areas and let that particular area take care of it, whether it's a state or whatever it might be. California certainly is always saying, oh, we want more people, and they want more people in their sanctuary cities. Well, we'll give them more people. We can give them a lot. We can give them an unlimited supply.
Because while Trump's threats are as subtle as a heart attack, Shep and Chris Wallace clearly have his number. And that is that this whole manufactured crisis is A, a talking point to drum up support from his shrinking extremist base, B, the legal liability equivalent of putting a trampoline in the middle of an elementary school gymnasium, setting it on fire, and then calling the kids over, and C, disingenuous. Nothing will ever amount from this. And Trump knows that, and that makes it so much worse because it's not even a serious policy proposal. It's meant solely to exploit undocumented immigrants as pawns, as political props, and nothing more. To him, they're not humans, they're chess pieces. And they always have been. He's never viewed immigrants as people, from referring to them as animals on numerous occasions.
We have people coming into the country, or trying to come in. We're stopping a lot of them. But we're taking people out of the country. You wouldn't believe how bad these people are. These aren't people. These are animals.
To predicating his presidential campaign on banning them from the country.
We will build a great wall along the southern border. Anyone who illegally crosses the border will be detained until they are removed out of our country and back to the country from which they came.
To using DACA recipients as bargaining chips to end the government shutdown he created, putting 800,000 federal employees out of work. And while Trump tries as hard as he can to dehumanize these immigrants, these people who come here to escape gang violence and economic strife, the people who clean our houses and cook our food and mow our lawns and farm our crops, his attacks fell flat as mayors from cities across the country called his bluff and offered to welcome immigrants into their cities. Like Philadelphia Mayor Jim Kenney, who said, the city would be prepared to welcome these immigrants just as we have embraced our immigrant communities for decades. This White House plan demonstrates the utter contempt that the Trump administration has for basic human dignity. And even if America's sanctuary cities' mayors didn't call his bluff, it wouldn't matter. The White House has no legal authority to bus immigrants long distances. Even Homeland Security officials sought legal advice and found that the plan wasn't in accordance with federal law. Basically, if someone is seeking asylum in the United States, the government can detain them for a certain amount of time until their hearing with an immigration judge. And once they exceed the amount of time that they can be detained, if they haven't had their hearing yet, they have to be released. But keep in mind two things. First, if anyone has any record of violence or criminal activity, they aren't released. And second, while Trump claims that once immigrants are released, they never come back for their hearings, that's not true. Data shows that the large majority, about 75%, do come back for their hearings. And that number used to be higher before the Trump administration ended an Obama-era program that matched asylum seekers with case managers who encouraged compliance with court-ordered obligations. That program's participants had a 100% attendance record at their hearings. In other words, Trump broke it and then complained that it was broken. And that shouldn't surprise anyone, because the fact is that Trump is not looking for any type of solution here. He's not interested in keeping Americans safe or seeking comprehensive immigration reform or finding a pathway to citizenship. He's only interested in using immigrants as pawns to further stoke division. Except now, no one is falling for it.